I'm back. Being consistent. Another day, another dollar. Shit. Before I even start this up, I'm gonna say this shit one time. Shout out to whoever gonna see this. I don't give a fuck where you from. I don't give a fuck what you doing. I don't give a fuck where you at. I don't give a fuck who you are. Shout out to you because you're gonna see this. I don't care if you at work. I don't care if you at school. I don't care if you sleeping. I don't care if you're on the moon. I don't care if you driving. I don't care if you swimming. I don't care if you. I don't give a fuck what you doing. Shout out to whoever gonna see this shit right here. All right. I'm not even gonna waste no time. I ain't gonna do no load up. I'm gonna just start this shit right now. For some context though, as everybody knows, Lil Durk locked up right now for murder for hire. His lawyer, Findling, is doing Vlad TV interviews. Well, did a Vlad TV interview. I'm on part 4. Not really much more to say. Start this shit up. May not have no reaction, but we're gonna see what they talking about.
Well, in the worst case situation, how much time is he facing if he blows trial?
Vlad, this is
Life?
This is a life imprisonment case.
Okay.
There's no in between. This isn't state court. There's no,
Right.
Hey, we'll do 10, 15. It's a life case.
Right. Could it be a capital murder case where he's possibly facing the death penalty?
Well, that under the federal system, that possibility exists. We've not been given notice of that. Like you hear that they'll give notice of the intent to seek the death penalty. There's not been that issue in this case. Got to remember, this is a multi-defendant case. So you have multiple people. Nobody's received any notice of that.
Right. I mean, from what I understand, you can correct me if I'm wrong, usually the death penalty on a federal level is something involving a mass murder kind of situation. Is that accurate?
Yeah. So that's a good way of putting it. Federal death penalty cases are usually like unique circumstances.
Timothy McVeigh, people like that.
Yeah. There's generally extremely unique circumstances. I would say that given this case and what we know about it, it doesn't fit that type of case that you expect to get death notice. And I've done so many murder cases, and it just says
death penalty is crazy.
Fit into that category. And trust me, that's not saying that these federal prosecutors are not working extremely hard on the case. I'm not in any way insinuating that. It just doesn't strike me as that type of case.
Now, was there a plea deal offered at all up to this point?
No.
Okay. Are you going to be seeking a plea deal?
There is really.
Damn, no plea. I mean, they trying to put that boy under the jail.
There's no plea deals because it's a life imprisonment case.
Okay, so usually in cases like this, there's no plea deal. But what if, for example, as the case progresses, the government realizes they don't have much of a case, it starts to fall apart and everything else like that? Sometimes don't you see like a time served kind of situation, or do the feds always go all the way with it?
That's what distinguishes a state case from a federal case. Vlad, you really don't see that in a federal case. There would have to be some unique set of circumstances, but we just don't think like that. My thought process in negotiating a case, I think there's a false narrative that certain lawyers are great negotiators. I think the only way to negotiate is to be a great trial lawyer. If you present the threat of a really solid defense, if you represent a really solid opposition, that's where you get respect from the other side. And so even though you may walk into a courtroom and be like, man, these people don't like one another, they can't stand one another, everybody walks away and they'll say, damn, this is going to be the Third World War. This might be something that we need to have a sit down about. And that might be either in front of a jury or in an aggressive motion case where there's some real viable motions. And so, I think that my office just has won so many incredibly big trials, particularly in the last 5 to 7 years. I mean, trial after trial. And the reason that we've got so-called great deals in different cases is because we represent a really viable opponent to really take you to the mat.
I mean, because the plea deal could happen during trial, right?
Sure, I probably lead the league in that. But
yeah, like
that
before the verdict, the DA could say, listen, take this and we'll end the trial right now, right?
So when I say lead the league, that really is something that takes place more in state cases. So I've had so many of those in state cases, innumerable, like crazy, where, you know, you're at the end of week 2.
Yo, Tyrese Halliburton, he just hit a game winner. Yo,
and
that's a super side note.
Hey, are you available for a meeting? And all of a sudden your case wraps up. And what's the greatest example? Lucci, 3 weeks in, and the next thing we know, we've been trying to get that murder case thrown out for 3.5 years. We were trying to get that RICO case thrown out for 3.5 years. And it took 3 weeks and the momentum building in our favor to all of a sudden have a deal where in a short period of time, he was going to get out with a letter from the prosecutor saying, I have no objection to him getting out at the first opportunity.
Yeah, he's actually out now.
He's out and doing amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes. The same thing happened with Young Thug. He had a plea deal after how many years in court and so forth? Yeah, that happens a lot. I mean, how many Fed cases have you actually beaten in trial?
Well, we've had numerous victories, but the biggest one that really influenced our practice was a little over a year ago. We tried a major fraud case. I know it was like a $40 million fraud case in San Francisco. We were in trial for a month and got a full clean sweep, not guilty on everything. And it's one of those cases, your first big win for a rapper. It just kind of created a cavalcade of people in high-end white-collar cases, because I love my rappers, but 5% of what we do is that. And we just, the phones were blowing up on white-collar cases after. That was a huge win, and it rang in white-collar circles from coast to coast and border to border. And so that was a really big impact on our firm.
Imagine nothing, nigga. All right. Another day, another dollar. I'm out of here. I'm about to watch this fucking game. Stephen Curry is the fucking GOAT. Fuck everybody. I'm out.